Understanding the need to go green, Kobus van Wyk and Rowan van der Venter created Susutainable, a luxury off-the-grid cabin at the foot of the Langeberg Mountains, designed by architect Etienne Brits.
Their home shows how you can lower your carbon footprint, live off the land and tap into greener living, all in style.
As South Africans become more mindful of every energy, water and food choice we make, Kobus van Wyk and Rowan van der Venter have seized the moment.
Welcome to Susutainable in the Glen Karoo in the Langeberg Mountains of the Western Cape. We looked quite extensively at loads of places around Southern Africa and South Africa, and this place popped up. We just grabbed it with both hands. We wanted to be in charge of our own lives in the sense of having our own water, having our own electricity, having our own firewood, those kind of things that you can't really have in the city.
To make it happen, Kobus and Rowan turned to a specialist local architect, Etienne Brits.
The brief to Etienne was to have a one-bedroom house with a footprint not bigger than the house we had in the UK. That was the big thing, as well as to kind of melt away within the surrounding mountains. We gathered all the stone to actually build this house with a really thick north-facing wall to keep the house warm in winter and cool in summer.
The stone walls function as a natural energy reservoir or battery, retaining heat or cool for hours. Smart design to be sure.
I'm Etienne Brits. I'm an architect interested in natural materials and context site-specific designs. Generally, my designs look at massing as a tool for energy efficiency within buildings, using stone and brick, building with thick walls, allowing for energy to be stored within those walls as the sun heats them up. And then that heat and energy gets transferred into the house on the colder evenings, warming the place, and then also the massing of the walls keep the place cooler during the hot summer months. To keep the elements clear from each other, nothing really touches within the house. So the stone wall that you can see here, that is an expression of the outside material, is visible inside the house, but then where the white boxes meet, it's cut loose. So there's a slot running throughout the house that separates the stonework from the brickwork.
It's a discovery of old energy wisdom which does not rely on new technology and runs the length of the house.
These three cottages that we placed in a row, they became the main body of the house, and then to tie all of that together, we used the traditional stone wall built in the traditional way that you would see in the Barrydale area. To address the problem or the challenge of the slope of the site and to tie that in with the client's request to have the house as one space, the house steps down and opens up like a telescope as you move down the slope, with the ceiling staying at one level, focusing your view out towards the mountains.
Whether you're running the 5-kilometer trail the guys have laid out through landscape or just taking the sights in like framed paintings, the design has you feeling like you have it all to yourself.
Kobus and Rowan wanted a big open space, but to give some privacy. Each white box houses a different function within the house: the bathroom, the bedroom, the foyer, the kitchen and dining room, and the living room. And they're all connected through this passage that runs all the way along. So that creates this access through the house with the Karoo landscape on both sides, and this house opens up along the slope towards the mountains.
Life centers around food here, and whether you're cooking or eating, it always feels like you're doing it in the great outdoors.
To create more space in the kitchen, we created a cutout in the massive stone wall, and that's where all our services run all the way along the wall. And this creates a very nice space for the kitchen. We've got enough space for a massive island and then for the dining room on that side.
After 16 years of living in the cool weather of the British Isles, the simple climate-altering genius of greenhouse technology is one which Quibus has learned to make the most of.
This is my greenhouse. We grow all sorts of leafy greens that will struggle growing outside. We have all these boxes raised and on wheels so we can easily move them around depending on season. Some of these leafy greens and salads prefer a lot more shade, and we'll move it back of the greenhouse when it's too warm, and in winter we'll move it a bit forward towards the door where there's a lot more sunshine. As you can see, we have a lot of rocket, broccoli, sprouts, baby leaf spinach. We've got an avocado, a mango, and also this banana tree. In this box we have our strawberries. They do yield some awesome strawberries. In this box I have my small leaf spinach, and in this box I have my romaine lettuce.
Beyond growing what he eats, this is fine therapy for the man with the green fingers.
Gardening has always been a big passion of mine. It's something that I find very relaxing and meditative, and something you can enjoy on your own or with other people.
Resisting the convenience of a visit to the supermarket to fully sustain yourself out here, you have to be mindful of the seasons and work with them.
This all used to be veld and fynbos, so I decided to build some terraces with my raised beds. Currently I only have garlic that's almost ready for harvest, and then some peas that I'm already harvesting, and I'm waiting for spring to kick in before I can actually grow all the other vegetables that I have for summer.
Though they could have kept the glory of these 110 acres for themselves, Ruan and Quibus built guest cabins which a top local designer has made the most of.
The first thing that I really wanted to incorporate was the name of the place, which is Suidster, translating to Southern Star. A big inspiration was the environment we find ourselves in, being quite a dry and arid place, and bringing that into the interior, especially through furniture details and color choices. So the whole space is one open living area that incorporates the kitchen, the lounge, a dining area, as well as the bedroom and bathroom. So each kind of replicating that whole directional design of north, east, south, and west, where each space has a specific view that it looks out towards, and obviously has like its function within the larger space of the cabin. Because it's an open plan space, the use of certain materials like the natural oak that you see in some of the joinery is really important in kind of linking the whole space together and creating that thread of symmetry that just merges all the elements. And that's also seen through other details like the soft curtaining, which kind of softens each area, as well as steel details that brings that edgy and modern feel into the space.
Out here, the flatness stimulates the mind and the mountains excite the emotions. And that soul of the landscape is reflected in Hendre's choice of rust-colored interiors inspired by the rock formations around the guest house. As for the owner, his happy place is making the most of what he's grown in the garden.
I've always liked cooking, especially for other people. It's been a passion of mine for many, many years. And it's something I grew up with, especially with my father and my mother. Our house was designed around the kitchen. That was one of the main briefs that we gave to Etienne. He basically made everything work, and everything was planned around the flow of the kitchen, where the cabinets are going to be, where the island's going to be, where the chairs are going to be, even with the folding doors opening to the outside. It was very important for us to be able to open all these doors, especially in summer, while you have a braai, and just have an extended kitchen basically, and just to share the space with other people and share our passion for good food and good cooking and healthy food and fresh food with other people.
What Quebers is also inviting us to do is be mindful of how we can sustain ourselves, live off the grid, from the land, and recognize how better to tap into renewable living.
Waking up in such a beautiful location must feel like a dream, a hidden gem in the heart of Africa.
And that's what we're about right here at Umzansi, being able to celebrate and elevate such incredible spaces.